Rutherford Issues with Bryan Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
Rutherford Issues is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric, who offers some energy-saving tips during the hot summer months. Schedule heat-related chores like cooking, cleaning, and laundry to either the early morning or evening hours. More tips at mte.com/myenergyplan. Our friends from Rutherford County PAWS are here joining us in studio today. Evan Curtis, Sebastian Jordan are here, and good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good to have you here today. So, I like to do this at least a few times when you're on. You say Rutherford County PAWS, Evan, and it's like, well, what does that mean? So what is PAWS?
PAWS stands for Pet Adoption and Welfare Services. We are the animal control and shelter for Rutherford County. So if you have any sort of animal issue regarding to law enforcement, or if you're just looking for a new furry friend, we can be the place that you can reach out to. We're at 285 John R. Rice Boulevard, just past the Sam's in town, if you know where that is. And we're open every day of the week. We, of course, vary a little bit on the weekends, but feel free to come in and take a look if you're curious.
Yeah, and maybe if we have time, maybe get to some of the things that if you are looking to adopt that you might need to think about before you do so. Mm-hmm. And another locator, just for those who go to the farmers market over there by the Lane Agri Park. You're right across the street. Right next door.
Yeah. You can't miss us if you're at Lane Agri.
That's right. So, you've got some events, or someone has events to tell us about. So who's going to do that?
Yes, that is going to be Sebastian.
All right.
Yeah. So we've got our Empty the Shelters event going on. We're 2 weeks into that. That's sponsored by the BISSELL Pet Foundation. So with that, we're able to do free adoptions, free microchipping. Every pet gets a free bag of food and some goodies. So that's been going very well. We've had 52 adoptions so far.
Oh, cool.
Since we started that. It's going through the 31st. We have a lot more pets that need homes because we are serving the whole county. So lots more. Come get, a free pet.
Yeah.
Free addition to your family.
Yeah, that's right. So, and I know, Evan, you would know this since Sebastian's fairly new to the PAWS family, but 52 in half a month, is that
That's pretty good.
Is that good? Okay, good.
Yeah, especially usually how I quantify how we're doing, and this is a little bit of a peek inside, I see how many rows in adoption we have full, because usually we get about a row in a week. Is a good way of putting it, and we want to adopt at least out 10 animals a week. That would be our floating. So getting 52 in 2 weeks is pretty good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That does include cats, of course, but even if you split in half between dogs and cats, it's still a pretty good amount.
Sure, and this BISSELL grant certainly helps with that.
Yes, yes, it definitely helps. It helps us have more funds to do things that are fun for the animals, or invest back into the community by doing more services, like our free spay-neuter program and things like that.
Okay, well, I do want to make sure that we talk about some of the things, since we're still in this month of July where the adoptions fees are waived and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Exactly what you need to bring, and if you've got other animals, that kind of thing. So it's a good reminder for folks, maybe.
Yeah. The important thing is to bring yourself and a photo ID. You do have to be adult to adopt an animal. If you have any children at home, if they're under 18, we recommend bringing them, because we do usually require that they meet with the animal ahead of time, just because we work with strays. We want to make sure everything's safe. And then as for bringing your already owned animals along, if you're looking at adopting a dog, we do require dog-on-dog meet and greets for any other dogs that already are in your home. Don't worry about having to pack up your cats. We do not do cat-on-dog meet and greets, just for the sheer fact that the logistics don't work out. But we do need to have up-to-date proof of their rabies vaccinations for every rabies vaccinatable animal in the house.
Yeah.
And that's the short of it, of what you need. We also need approval from whoever owns the land for the animal to live there. If you own your own land, perfect. If you live with family, just either bring them with you or have their phone number. Or if you rent, either have your landlord's phone number, or if it's a corporation like a big complex, sometimes it's on their website and we can check it there, or we can give them a call to make sure as well.
Very good. So I know that maybe seems like a lot of things, but
Yes.
just kind of use some common sense. If you've got another animal, another dog, and you're looking to adopt an additional dog, those two need to kind of get along,
Yes.
and kids and that kind of thing. So, and I'm sure all of that information maybe is on your website.
It's all on our website. If you go to the Adopt tab on our website, it's all listed out, so you can either screenshot it so you have a list, or just keep the web page up.
Okay, very good. And Sebastian, this goes through the end of the month, is that right? Empty the
Yes.
shelters?
Yeah, until the 31st.
Okay, very good. So you've got another week and a half, looks like, to adopt a new addition to your family, if that's what you're looking to do here at this point. Friends from Rutherford County PAWS here with us. More events, it looks like you have there, right? Or was that the event?
That was the event.
The event.
Yeah.
Well, that is a big event. That's the event.
We do have a little PSA just because, as everyone knows, we've been going through a little bit of a heat wave recently. It's been a little hotter than usual, and your pets are feeling it too. So we wanted to go over a little bit about, one, what heat stroke and exhaustion can look like in your furry friends, as well as some warnings about how to keep them cool and how their bodies keep cool. First of all, dog and cat temperatures, their body temperature actually runs several degrees higher than we do. So, you're human around 98 degrees. Dogs and cats actually hover around 101 to 102, and that's their normal temperature. That is partly, in fact, due to their smaller size, without getting into a lot of science there, but it also can help because neither of them can sweat. They cool through indirect means. So dogs will pant, and then cats will most likely find somewhere cool to lay down. Usually that's why you'll see cats spread out on concrete or in the shade on cool grass, things like that. Mostly talking about outdoor cats right now because those are the ones we've got to worry about. But they are both prone to heat exhaustion, just like we are. And sometimes, especially with dogs, they can hide it until it can develop all the way to heat stroke. And at that point, you're looking at something kind of dangerous. Of course, main thing to watch out for, never leave your animals unattended in a car unless it's running. And then that's your own... I'm forgetting the word for it right now. You can make that decision. But cars and temperatures in cars can climb deceivably fast. Just a couple of numbers here. And I'm talking about a 30-minute gap of a car outside without AC on. When it's 70 degrees outside, after 30 minutes, that car is 104 degrees inside, which is already dangerous at prolonged times for an animal. And that's at 70 degrees. So that's a day when you'd be like, it'd be fine. It's not that hot out. Of course, it gets progressively more dangerous the hotter it gets out. So 80 degrees after 30 minutes, it's 114 degrees. And generally, a animal only has to experience a prolonged about 15 minutes of heat exposure once they've entered heat stroke in order for it to be bad. And there is some things they can do medically, but the longer, of course, that they're exposed to it, the harder it is going to be to recover from that. So it can more easily affect, of course, sicker dogs, old dogs, young dogs, and of course thick-coated dogs. So like Huskies, Goldens, ones with those Great Pyrenees, ones with the thick coats that are a little bit more resilient to winter temperatures. Of course, if they're outside in the breeze, their coats are structured to keep them cool. But if they're in an area where there's no airflow, that greatly reduces the amount that they can cool themselves.
And with that, it seems counterintuitive, but you don't want to fully shave them because their coat is layered in a way that helps with airflow and to keep them from overheating.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, double-coated dogs, so like Goldens and Great Pyrenees, those big fluffy farm dogs, their coat is actually structured to keep a layer of air next to their body, so it's stiff in a weird way. So that keeps them warm in the winter and cool during the summer. But of course, they need airflow for that to work. But And also I have my SAT word, brachycephalic dogs.
Wow.
So,
that is an SAT word.
I usually call them brachy dogs. It's the ones that have the squished muzzle. So think any sort of pug, some Shih Tzus, as well as Persians, if you're thinking more towards the cat side. Of course, they've got a double issue where they've got the thick coat as well. But just a little warning, and just keep an eye out on your dogs, especially because they can get very much into play and not realize that they're overheating until it's too far. So take dogs on walks beginning of the day, end of the day. Try to reduce the amount of energy that they're expending in the middle of the day. If they're outside, make sure they've got at least one source of water and shade. But usually I recommend getting two sources of water, just because they can knock one over, and that makes sure that they have it just in case.
I've noticed that some people will actually maybe put out or freeze overnight one of the water bowls, so that way that there's nice cool water for a while there during the outside. Then that's kind of a nice idea too.
And generally just keep the things for the dog in the shade, both for things tend to age quicker in the sun, so it's good for the things that you're putting outside, and also it'll keep the water from getting too hot, and from the dog trying to spend too much time out in the sun.
Now, do dogs and cats, do they, sweat is not the right word, but don't they use their paws somehow to regulate body temperature too?
They can, and there is a instance in which you want to be careful with them on that too. Remember that the blacktop gets very hot under the sun.
Right, that's where I was thinking.
Do not take your animals on walks on the blacktop. Concrete will still be hot, but it is a little bit cooler. So try to take walks on grass and things like that. Generally, dogs are a little bit better than cats because they can pant as well to increase the evaporative rate to cool them down faster. But generally, if you see a cat panting, they're already too hot, so get them into a cooler place.
And do you, if you're at that point, do you want it to be like a sudden cool, or try to stage that out? Because I would think the shock of it could be.
You do not want to shock them. Use tepid water, so room temperature to slightly warmer than room temperature water. If it feels room temperature to you, like to the slightly, like not like you've got a water bottle that you've left on the counter and it's slightly cool room temperature, but like you put your hand in it and it feels like nothing, because that's going to be slightly cooler than their body temperature. You can cool them down by rinsing them lightly. Do not submerge them. Just kind of run the water over them, especially for larger dogs, over kind of like their withers area. And then you can also offer them that water to drink. If it's been a while and that they're in the heat, they're not going to want to drink. And especially if they're getting to the point of non-response or like kind of like shaking, that's when you're going to want to take them to an emergency vet, because they're to the point that they need medical intervention and not something you can kind of handle at home.
Very good information here today. And if you joined us maybe a bit late, do want to remind you that you can check out the podcast. It'll be up at WGNSradio.com under Rutherford Issues. You want to listen back. And, Sebastian, you were mentioning this in our last 30 seconds here or so, that if you see a dog in a car and there's no AC running and things like that, it's our responsibility to make sure that something happens quickly.
It is. There are Good Samaritan protection laws in terms of either breaking a window if you have to, or calling the police or getting someone involved to save them. Yeah. When Evan was going over all the temperatures and how quickly a car heats up, that is also with the windows cracked with airflow.
Yes.
Very good point to remember there as well. So, guys, I appreciate you stopping in today.
Thank you for having us.
Don't forget, Empty the Shelters continues through the 31st at Rutherford County PAWS. And check out their website. Just go to rutherfordcountytn.gov, and you can find PAWS from there. And thanks for joining us here on this Friday. We'll see you back here next time for another edition of Rutherford Issues.